I think they should be worried about their jobs, but for a different reason. If all you're doing is thinking about AI, you should be worried about your job, right? I often hear people saying things, it's not AI is going to take your job, it's someone else who knows how to use AI. But I think this is true more generally, AI or not, right? There's always new things, there's always changes. If we don't understand how things are changing, if we're not paying attention, if we're not always learning, then we're going to get left behind. And so AI or not, I can't predict that one way or another, but if we're not always thinking about what's coming next, how is the world changing, how do people work, how does technology work, how do those systems work, the more we're learning, the more effectively we can do our jobs.
Yeah, interestingly, as AI becomes more powerful, I think human judgment is going to become even more necessary in a few ways. Number one, all of AI works on prompts, right? It all works on prompts. It all's like, what is the thing you are trying to accomplish? And how do you get even more clearly defined on the problems that you want to see solved through any technology? So technology is only as good as the inputs you give it, including AI. So I think it's going to challenge people to be more critical. The other thing it's going to do is I think if AI takes away certain jobs, that means, or replaces certain tasks, that means the task remaining might be more complex. So I think it's going to also force humans to do more complex reasoning across tasks. Like the unit of work might not be a task. It might now be, you talked about it, ownership, a project, right? Where you're working with both digital assistants and other humans. Think about the reasoning you need to be able to think about the problem that way. And the solution is using two form factors, one human, one digital. So I think you're going to see people have to own more end-to-end, ironically, and give better inputs.
There are three pitfalls that you should think about applying AI. The first one is we are not allowed. The legal department says that you can't put this information into Copilot. And then you ask the legal department, where is that data originally? Yeah, it's in the Microsoft Cloud, in Azure. Okay, so you have it. How did you get it? Yeah, I got it through Outlook. Okay, so it's going through the Microsoft systems. Do you know where the Copilot is? Yeah, it's a Microsoft system, but you can't put it in there. We have so much slowness, unnecessary slowness in applying AI. The second one is that we aim at a 50% improvement. That's so easy to do incrementally. You don't need to actually change anything. If you ask people to do a 500% improvement or 5,000% improvement, they will immediately realize that there's no way to do that without rethinking the whole process. And that's when AI comes to its power. And the third thing is that we have time. Things are not going to change quickly. Just as an example, in one dimension, to highlight the challenge, if classically decision-making was about intuition, historical data, and today it's AI-enhanced decision-making. We can get more data, we can analyze it better, we can maybe ask for advice. What will it be tomorrow? Then what will it require for us to implement that? Constant real-time simulation of our operating environment, intelligent predictions, real-time actions that impact our employees, our customers, things taken care of before I even know about them. But that requires reinventing how we operate.
So when you think about AI, it's becoming extremely pervasive. And I think this is going to become, the new normal, if you want to put it that way. But I think AI is going to be part of our lives, our everyday lives. But when it comes to ethics, when it comes to making decisions that are really profoundly human elements, then I think we should be very careful about incorporating that. So instead of regulating maybe the consumer aspects of things or the advertising, focusing on the ethical areas might be the most interesting area to really double down and put our effort. Today, there's a big buzz around how AI is going to destroy jobs or take jobs. I think it is probably an absolute reality that AI is going to redistribute work. And I think leaders should help their organizations embrace that. It makes no point to hope that it's just magically going to go away. It won't. But if you actually show them that there are enormous possibilities to use these tools to develop their superpowers and to become better versions of themselves, I think that's the first step to unlock the potential of that. It makes no point scaring people. But how can you build a sense of urgency without scaring people? I think that is one of the essentials of leadership.
So much people talk about generative AI. I would say do not even try building your own LLM, for sure. The large language model is going to get commoditized. Quite honestly, you could download so cheaply, even from DeepSeek in China, put it into your private on-premise server and keep it safe. It is doable. You download that and never let data going out. But what is non-negotiable is to keep your data, keep your proprietary data comprehensive, increase the amount of data flow, and better censor your click on web, in physical environment, anonymous stuff, so that you are not breaching GDPR, but getting as much information flow and data flow. That is what you have to keep and cannot rent. But then anything LLM, any AI tool, you just rent them. Put them onto your on-premise, multi-cloud to make it safe, no dependency. Because the open LLM don't know your context. Your context, your knowledge is always king.